What's going on, fam? So I'm just leaving the gym. I'm on my way back home now, but it's Wednesday. I wanted to give a little whipping wisdom. It's a topic of something that's on my mind very frequently. Heavy, I would say, but it just came up in conversation today. So like during my whole workout, it was on my mind. So I figured I'd touch base on it. But it's mindset. So like mindset, something I'm very like keen into. Like I'm very like that's my shit. Like that to me is the cheat code to life. To anything, any situation, is your mindset. So today the conversation came up. A good friend of mine, a member of the gym, and I actually coach. He's my neighbor, but I coach his son in position drills for football. His son wanted to be a linebacker, so I coach him in the off season for linebacker drills. But now he decided he wanted to get in them trenches, which I'm not mad at. Trenches is where that real deal blood and gore goes on, you know, and he wanted to be there and play some D-line. So like we just had a conversation touching base since football season started. And his son was like coming back from an injury, so I was just touching base, seeing what was going on. And like you said, you know, his injury's doing a lot better, and that actually he started as a parent, he started to notice his son standing out amongst the crowd. It's not just a sea of bodies anymore, where he's kind of like in the group amongst the herd. He's standing out amongst the herd. Like he's noticeably getting it. He's noticeably getting better, stronger, and like, you know, that hunger for it. And then we started talking about like the mentality of being in the position, especially a position like the trenches. Like how do you get that? And then I told him from my experience, like middle school, I was in a position where like coach saw it. He knew I had that beast within me, but he had to unlock that. And like there was that awareness that like this kid can do some shit. And I was always big. Like I was always the bigger kid in middle school up until like probably the first year of high school, honestly. But I was always the big kid, playing for the Western Wildcats Metro League back in Virginia. But I had it. So there were plays where like he'd bring me over to the sideline, smack my helmet around, and be like, I need you to get mad. Like you play too nice. Just get mad, get angry. And sure enough, like he got mad. Like, don't hit me. Like, let me get mad. Like, I don't like getting hit like this by coach. So then I got mad. Sure enough, two things stand. Like, there's one game where next series I got 3 sacks in a row, just because I was mad. I went out there and played angry with that chip on my shoulder. And then the next series, another game, stands out because it was my first block punt. So the first play, it was 3rd and short. I got back there, sacked for loss. 4th down, coach was like, they might go for it, get mad. And I don't know if like this is a common thing, but then it was one of those plays where the QB snaps the ball, hikes the ball, but it's like a punt pass option. So like he's either gonna throw it and try to get the first, or he's gonna punt it and give it to us. But it was like a last minute decision. And I remember I was so angry because I forgot what coach said to me, but it pissed me off. And like I was just mad. Like I was foaming at the mouthpiece. Like it was bad. Sure enough, got back there. Quarterback decided to punt. Blocked the whole punt with my forearm. Had the mark on my forearm and everything. I didn't realize I blocked it until I felt the sting and I heard the crowd go wild. And I came back and I was like, oh, that's a football right through on my forearm. So that just that instinct, that anger, that chip on the shoulder, that competitive edge to like that's something remarkable. It's something that we all have, and it's something that it's the matter of us to unlock. Like we're not gonna have a coach there always to bring that out. Like you have to find that awareness. Coach was aware, and that brings me to my next point. He asked me, the guy from the gym, he asked me, how do you coach that? As a coach, how do you coach that in your players? How do you instill that in your players? And to get back to where I was, like you don't get coached that. There's a coach that's aware that you have it, but it's up to you to embody that. And that's not even from a football and sports standpoint. That's for life. Like we all have that beast within. We all have that flame and that light. We all have that power, that superpower. But it's up to us to unlock that. It's up to us to understand that that's there and how to control that. Because at times you don't have control over it, it'll fully take you over. And that's when you hear people say, oh, I got mad, I blacked out. Because they don't have control over that anger. And it's not to say that fire is solely built off anger. That beast isn't anger. That beast is full control over all your emotions. That beast is that confidence that I got that shit, or I can do it. I don't doubt that I got that. And if I don't got that, I got no issue asking for help. I know my limits. I know my strengths. I know my weaknesses. But I'm still gonna push that shit because I want to get better. I want to be better. I want to be the best that I can be. That's that dog. That's that fight. That's that fire. That's where you get that from. That's that embodiment of it all. So it's not anyone can coach. Someone can be aware that you got it, but if you don't believe you got it, you don't got it, you know? But you do have it. You have it within. You have to just understand that it's up to you to unleash that shit. It's up to you to unlock that shit. That's your superpower. You think someone told Superman you're Superman? Fuck. No. You think someone told Batman to be Batman? No, he chose that shit. He did that, and he did it all the way through. So, like, you can't, and it's the mindset behind it. Like, this is not just mental. This translates to your physical. This translates to your emotional. This translates to your spiritual. This right here is the key to everything. You unlock this, you unlock everything. And it's not the art of comparison. Like, fuck what somebody else did or does. Like, it's the matter of knowing you, knowing yourself, knowing what it is that you do, what you do well, what you don't do well, and keep that shit moving. Own that, because that is you. And to give an example, back to football. So high school football, when I found my edge, because I found that beast through working out. So, like, workouts is where I unlocked that. I got that from being in the gym, seeing the upperclassmen lift, seeing them do their grind, put that work in, and that shit motivated me. Because I knew if I wanted to play at their level and I wanted to be that good, I had to put the same work in they were putting in, if not more. So that was the fuel to my fire. That was, I want to be the best player I can be. I want to play at the next level. I want to get there. So I have to work my ass off. So when I was working out in the gym, I was pushing numbers. I was getting stronger. I was getting faster. I was getting better. And when I did that, that translated over to the field. I noticed the difference on the field of how I was moving, how I was hitting, how I was making my plays, understanding the game a lot better. So for me, that was how I unlocked my edge, but that was just the mere fact of me getting better. It wasn't me comparing myself to them, because some of their numbers I wasn't gonna hit, and that shit didn't defeat me, but it was me using what they were doing as motivation of where I wanted to go, because I know I'm not that player, I know I'm not them, I know I'm me. So like that, for me, was my unlocking of that ability to be great, to make great plays, to go in every Friday night and do what the fuck I did, to ultimately getting me to the position to play in college. But one thing that like I'm really like starting to reflect on and understand a little bit more is like in high school, during games and like scouting reports and week in, week out, like we didn't really do a lot of scouting, or at least my team and the people I was kicking with didn't really care about that. We just went out and we balled. We knew we were working in the off season. We knew we were working during the week. We knew we were working during practice. We're like, we weren't really talking about other players and other teams. We just talking about the team as a whole. Like, we got to go out there and win. We got to do that. Team versus team, not player versus player, team versus team. And it wasn't until college where like the coaching got a little different, where they would spotlight certain players on the team and we would practice around that player, and like we wouldn't really get, like we'd get papers solely talking about one player. Not so much the team, but what that one player was doing. And like to me, now thinking about it, like that can really shift the mindset. Like, that can be distracting, because now you're worried about one player, but not a whole team. You're worried about 1 out of 11. And like that's not how I was used to prepping. Like during high school, I didn't give a fuck if you were all like American or what. I didn't know that about you. I just knew you were on the opposite team, and it was up to me to stop you from scoring. That's all I knew. But then going to college is a whole different thing. Like, oh, I got to worry about this one person this whole time. Like, but that to me is just, it's different. It's different. And if you're not able to like compartmentalize that, like that, I feel like that could be a game changer. That can be distracting. That can be, you know, more negative than positive. And I get it for the aspect of like, oh, they might be great, but like at the same time, like to me, that just shows fear. And like you're in like back in high school, our coaching wasn't the best, but that's one thing that I'm proud of like we didn't have fear in that regard. Like you just go out and play. You have a responsibility, do it. And that's not to say that that's not there in college, but like when you go into week only worrying about 1 or 2 players, like what is that? Like that shifts your focus from what the game is. It's 11 versus 11, not a 1 versus 11. Like there's other shit to be worried about. So let's say we did stop that one player because all our focus was there, but they still win because we didn't care about anybody else. But coaching wasn't the best in my opinion, but like it is what it is. And there's also a lot of other distractions that happened in college that kind of got me off my mindset, but like that shit happens too. So a quick note on that, like high school I was a different beast than I was in college. College I got hella distracted by shit that didn't matter. I lost touch of who I was. Got out of college, captured that mindset back, ended up getting shut down to play football and continue the sport. Once that happened, I hit a new low. Hit a state of depression, actually like was diagnosed with depression, was on meds, did therapy, did the whole 9, like put on a lot of weight, was doing all the wrong things. Ended up being in a relationship, and that relationship ended. I had a lot of weight in that relationship. That ended up messing me up a little bit. So then after that, I was just distracting myself with more shit, like versus feeling my feelings. I was actually like just drinking every weekend, like doing shit just to numb that pain out and like not feel what I wanted to feel, like not feel those lows, not feel like a complete piece of shit, you know. And with that, obviously there's health implications. And then, you know, I was doing things that I thought would make me happy, but I didn't really ask myself if I was happy to begin with. I didn't really look into what it was. Like I lost touch with that mindset as a whole. And before it gets too low, I ended up doing something good for me, great for me, which was move out to a new state and have a new experience, because I lived in that one state for 25 years and my 27 living before I moved out here. And with that brought that beast back, because it was me in touch with me. It was time for me to face all my shit. It was time for me to come face to face with all the bullshit I've been telling myself, all the bullshit that I've been through, and learn those lessons, because that shit's not coming back. Learn those lessons and then move on. And from there, that beast is back. That's here. So that's going to show like life has ups and downs. And I really just wanted to say that to let you know that like shit happens. Like shit happens. It really does. I get that. I understand that. I know what it feels like to be low and lowest of your lows. And I've been in my highest of my highs. And I know what both ends feel like. But it's the matter of owning that. Never lose touch of that mindset. Like I lost touch of that, and that's when that low got even lower. And then now that I've gained that back, because it never leaves, it's always there, and I've unlocked it again, like it's there, I'm a whole new beast. I see it every day. I know it every day. So like, it's not coached. You can have someone tell you something, and like they can be aware of it, like my coach was, like get mad, get angry, but it's up to you to make that play. You know, he got me mad, he got me there, but it was up to me to make that play. And coach wasn't there my whole life. So with that, if I didn't have him do that then, and I wasn't able to process that later, who would have known? I probably wouldn't have been the player I was. I probably wouldn't have had that dog mentality that early. I might have had it later on in life in a different aspect, but right then it was the best time for it, because football is my baby. Football is something I'm passionate about. Football is something that made me who I was, and it taught me a lot of great life lessons. So mentality is everything. You take anything from this conversation and these rambles, mentality is everything. So I just got back to my crib. That was a good little rant. So I hope you guys get something from it. Till next time, peace.